The young man just executed a fundamental sword draw, yet it left the director utterly astonished because a novice shouldn't possess such proficiency. I employed an advanced technique, flash step, prior to swinging the sword. More significantly, just before the flash, I identified the bully's most vulnerable point and struck forcefully, shattering their defense. The entire sequence transpired in less than 0.25 seconds, a feat even the director, with 15 years of experience, couldn't accomplish. It's incredible for someone newly awakened with no prior combat experience. Executing a warrior's move with such skill is impressive. This world blends magic and demons, allowing everyone to awaken various professions via the 5 elements. In my past life, I led the Divine Legion, the top team of awakened warriors, featuring the electric assassin An Li, the lively mage Han Xiaoling, the galaxy conductor Lucian, and myself as the river system holy swordsman. A traitor also left a lasting mark on me. Today is my 10th year leading the team, and our mission is to eliminate the SSS level demon king, Bell. This is the 100th high-level demon cave we've faced. This mission is called the LG Purge mission. Though L level is the toughest, once we finish it, we can enjoy a short break. With perfect teamwork, I used 10 Directions Annihilation, and finally beat Belphegor. Yet the team felt a bit unsatisfied, surprised the demon cave was so easy. Lucian quickly reminded everyone to stay alert, as it's odd for such a simple task to need our whole team to clear the cave. I agreed with Lucian. The intel mentioned this Demon King was unique, with 5 elements and hidden skills. Just then, delicate hands hugged Anle from behind, asking if we were planning a group meal during our short break, or if I was inviting him alone. I quickly pushed him away, deciding we should all meet at our usual spot in the Holy City. I then asked my teammates, "Isn't that guy keeping up with us?" Lucian said he was behind, cleaning up after the fight with Belphegor, but we were all used to it. That guy always lags behind, and he's usually the best at slacking. Suddenly, Han Xiaoling's head was pierced, and he died instantly, without a scream. This caught everyone off guard, and as I tried to turn, I realized I couldn't move. Then, a familiar voice whispered that for the past month, he'd been mixing paralyzing powder into our breakfasts. As he finished speaking, the divine skill, Forbidden Flower of Slowness, activated, and vines bound us tightly. The dreadlocked man, who claimed to be cleaning up, finally revealed himself, aiming to kill the strongest among us. It's impossible to move forward without full prep. It's the God's will. The L-level purge mission aims to eliminate you. Bound, we're defenseless, like lambs to slaughter at others' mercy. Vines shot at Anla and the others, but as captain, I could only watch as their chests were pierced. I angrily asked the dreadlocked man why he targeted us, the Divine Legion, who never crossed boundaries. Which God's will was this, and why were we treated this way? Hearing this, the dreadlocked man sneered, saying I was still naive. Does a god need a reason to want you dead? With those words, he charged at us with incredible speed. His arm pierced my chest, leaving me frozen. In my last moments, confusion filled my eyes. Weren't we comrades? After over 10 years, hadn't we become like family? The dreadlocked man smirked. Comrades? Family? Do you still not get why I'm doing this? Since day one, the gods have played a chess game. You've always been pawns, manipulated at will. To gain your trust, I acted with you for so long, and it's been disgusting. In the dead of night, a gunshot echoed through the building. Except for the man with dreadlocks, the entire God's Legion was wiped out. I felt so unwilling. If only I had discovered it earlier, I could have changed this tragic outcome. At that moment, a voice echoed in my mind. Let's make a deal. As the words fell, I found myself in complete darkness, wrapped in chains. Soon, a man in a suit appeared before me, surrounded by the 5 elements. I recognized him as Belphegor, but why wasn't he dead? Belphegor laughed and explained, how could an SSS-level demon king be so miserable? This is my soul space. The only dream. My country is my true life. I can sense that you are filled with hatred just like me, so I want to make a deal with you. My hidden skill is called Reversal of Fate, which can take you back to the distant past, giving you a chance to rectify and change everything. So, do you want to start over, Termite? I recall the moments with my companions over the past 10 years. How could I not want to see their smiles again? The real culprit of all this is that traitor. It was his betrayal that led to our demise. I told Belphegor that I want to start over, and I want to personally kill that traitor. and those lofty gods. This response made Belphegor quite pleased, and he promptly pulled out a blazing heart from his chest, surrounded by the 5 great elements, as a gift for our meeting. I didn't take it immediately, and asked why he wanted to deal with me and what the cost was. Belphegor didn't reply, just gave a knowing smile. When I opened my eyes again, I saw my middle school homeroom teacher, Ms. Huang. Termite, stand up. It's one thing to fool around in class usually, but you're about to transfer jobs this afternoon, and you still dare to sleep. Get to the back and stand. Looking at my young hands, I was stunned, unable to believe I had actually returned to my middle school days. Belphegor's ability is amazing. It really sent me back in time. As I marveled, Mr. Huang tapped the desk, urging everyone to focus. This world has 5 elemental powers: electricity, flower, cloud, and star, and each person can only have one element. Those who aspire for things possess the rare cloud element. Depending on how the elemental power merges with each person's body, it can be categorized into 3 main types: combat, functional, and special, due to the 5 elemental powers. Different roles have given rise to many different professions. I know that standing out among billions as potential individuals with awakening power, you are already far superior to others, surrounded by flowers and applause from a young age. However, today is your most important day. Currently, there are nearly 100 known awakening professions, graded from low to high as green, blue, red, and gold, and each person only has one chance to awaken their profession. Therefore, the moment you determine your profession this afternoon will decide your future status in the world. After class, as I walked around the campus, suddenly my friend, Eyeglasses, fell beside me. The one who shoved him was the school bully, Hong Shang. You all need help to awaken and dare block my way. Think you're special because you're about to awaken. To someone like me, a red quality profession awakener, you're nothing. Pressured, the bespectacled kid quickly handed over his pocket money, pleading with Hong Shang to let him go. In my past life, I remember Hong Shang often clashing with classmates. He seemed to have some superhuman gene, always causing trouble. Just then, Teacher Huang arrived. Yan cautioned Hong Shang, "This is an educational institution. Are you disregarding the regulations?" Hong Shang nonchalantly shrugged, claiming the bespectacled student collided with him, and that purchasing milk tea for his friends was justified. He murmured to Teacher Huang, "Defending students, are you? Without your appearance, you'd be dismissed from here." Teacher Huang disregarded him, assisted the bespectacled student to his feet, and inquired if he was alright. I recall Teacher Huang distinctly. He possesses a sharp tongue, but a gentle heart. Back then, after I awakened, I could help a lot. Just then, the teacher from the next class waved to remind us it was our turn for the awakening room. Mr. Wang quickly gathered the students, urging them to stay calm during the awakening to prevent injury. I recall awakenings here happen in 2 ways. Natural awakening, like Hong Changshen, usually occurs in those with strong physical traits and talent, awakening spontaneously during intense emotions. The other is through the awakening space room. Upon entering this space, emotions and adrenaline quickly catalyze, aiding potential awakenings. Since each person awakens just once and it's random, this transition is viewed as a singular chance to reshape one's destiny. When my turn came to enter the awakening room, Teacher Huang firmly reminded me to concentrate. I nodded, saying I knew. In my past life, I awakened as a Harmony Series warrior, a green quality, mediocre profession, leading to frequent bullying. Later on, I advanced to F, just in time to awaken the rarest type. I should still have core elements, but I wasn't sure what guidance I'd awaken this time. Suddenly, a mechanical voice sounded, saying the awakening system found an error and identified 5 elements. The Infinite Awakening system activated. Since my body has 5 elemental types, I can pick any element and profession as my initial career. Later, when an element accumulates enough, I can get a new random profession of that element, or upgrade an existing one. After hearing the system's intro, I was stunned. Not only can I choose the element and profession now, but I can also get new professions later. I am capable of obtaining all the various profession qualities, including the special one. The system elaborated that only the initial profession is freely chosen, while subsequent ones are determined randomly. I recalled the heart from Belphegor, a valuable gift that grants infinite awakening. The system then mentioned that after selecting the first profession, all element bars would reset. I smiled faintly, having already made up my mind. As I exited the awakening room, Mr. Huang hurried over, inquiring about my profession. I sighed and said, "Apologies, I have to disappoint you." I awakened to the lowest green quality of a Hexy warrior. Hearing this, Teacher Huang's face turned somber, but he still urged me not to give up. Even with green quality, many extraordinary talents have emerged. I didn't need his comfort, as I couldn't even imagine how strong I could become. At this moment, Hong Qiangsheng walked over, loudly mocking me, saying, "Remember Teacher Huang, you seem capable. So why spout this useless talk? Green quality means you're at the bottom. This world is like this. The gods choose people, and they only pick the strong. The weak are just there to be." As he said this, murderous intent surged in my eyes. My previous life's death was tied to those gods. Just then, Hong Qiangsheng told Teacher Huang, "You know, right? From now on, those with a green profession can only sit in the back and listen. That's society. Without strength, background or future, you're left behind by fairness. The strong get better resources and grow stronger. From awakening, those with a green profession are meant to stay at the bottom, doing menial tasks. Do you really think hard work can turn a green quality into a genius? It's just like everyone's birth. Your future is already set by our awakeners, and the school reflects that. I recall, Mr. Huang, you're a blue profession, right? Just stay as a teacher living off public funds. And you, kid with green quality, go home early and stop wasting resources." As he finished, I crushed the cup, splattering the drink on his face, telling him to shut his foul mouth. Hearing this, Hong Qiangsheng smirked and swung his heart's thorn at me with force. In the next moment, I summoned a sword and blocked it, then activated my warrior skills. The red wall saint flew out like a kite with its string cut, spitting blood. Everyone was stunned. I couldn't believe I actually knocked back a red quality professional. Unconvinced, Hong Qiangsheng stood up, claiming it was just luck I dodged his attack. However, having seen it all, Teacher Huang knew it wasn't mere luck. He realized I used the warrior profession's unique top-tier skill, blocking the damage at the strongest attack and reflecting it back within 0.09 seconds, a move needing 10 years of hard practice to master. With this thought, Teacher Huang's expression grew even more shocked. How did a student with no combat experience on the first day of awakening manage this? At that moment, Hong Qiangsheng pulled out a bayonet, determined to beat me until I doubted my life and crawled out of school. However, he didn't know I was ready, which is why I chose this seemingly weakest profession. Judging a person's future and fate from birth is a serious mistake they realized years later. Choosing a river warrior was because its advancement grants unique qualities and powerful skills that surpass others. The atmosphere was getting more tense. Classmates watching are worried because using awakened powers for private fights is strictly banned at school. Seeing the situation, Teacher Huang quickly advised us not to act rashly, saying we might still be allies in future battles. Hong Qiangsheng angrily refused, saying this guy just provoked him as a senior, and now you're asking me to stop? Even if he kneels and begs for mercy, it won't work. I want him to understand the huge gap between the chosen and the ordinary. Hearing this, Teacher Huang thought this wasn't good. The reason for such a big difference in quality is due to different attribute bonuses. The attribute bonus for green quality is 100%, which means unchanged, while for the same profession in blue quality it's 150%. The red quality is an astonishing 200%. At the moment of awakening, all attributes of a red class are twice that of a green class, creating an insurmountable gap in strength. My friend with glasses also thinks I'm done for. Whether it's actual strength or background strength, I'm completely outmatched by my opponent. Why provoke someone stronger than yourself for no reason? Such despicable people are indeed hateful, but to struggle and survive in such a world, you must learn to avoid the trash. When you can't avoid it, you must learn to swallow your pride. Being adaptable is the key to longevity. Direct confrontation is the most foolish choice, and waiting for your command is an even greater humiliation. At this moment, Hong Qiangsheng launched a fierce attack at me, but I stayed calm, standing firm, as I had no intention of dodging. The skill was activated in an instant, and my speed increased by more than 50% in a short period. I moved as fast as lightning, and appeared behind him in a flash. Hong Qiangsheng couldn't understand how I did it. Immediately after, he spat out a large amount of blood and eventually, exhausted, knelt on the ground coughing violently. This battle ended so quickly that even Teacher Huang couldn't see what happened. But class president Qi Yin had a thoughtful expression. He saw that the moment I attacked from the red wall, I once again used the warrior class's unique rapid skill. Furthermore, it was the advanced form of the rapid skill. He couldn't see clearly how I easily dealt with the opponent in that instant, but he was certain that I had not only mastered the highest level of the warrior's basic skills, but also seamlessly applied them in combat. Even in that brief moment, I considered not violating the school's rules in public. At this point, the system notified me that I gained 50 points of professional experience and 50 points of galaxy elements for severely injuring a level 1 new element opponent, which was exactly as I had anticipated. Engaging in pro battles can build career experience, and beating an elemental foe can earn element points. But 50 points are too few. I need to clear some dungeons fast to level up and advance quicker. At this moment, Hong Changsheng, trembling, stood up to stab me from behind, but was halted by a firm voice. The person stopping him was the head of the junior high department, Hong Liang. He told the watching students to stop and go home early to rest, and to report their awakening obsessions to their families. The word home hit me like lightning, and I didn't notice Hong Liang had already approached me. I suddenly remembered something crucial. Since I went back 20 years, they are all still alive. On Awakening Day, something else happened that I can't let go of. With that, I left school quickly. Hong Liang, feeling ignored, got angry, turned and scolded teacher Huang to watch his students, saying they should act like nothing happened today. Moments later, Hong Liang took his nephew to the office, and Hong Changsheng's eyes were full of defiance, thinking it was just that kid's luck. I could never lose to him. Right after he said that, Hong Liang slammed the table and told him to be quiet. Do you know what that kid did? When you rushed at him, he used an advanced skill, Swift Flash. But more importantly, just before he flashed, in that split second before you made contact, he found the weakest point in your body and struck it hard, breaking your defense completely. This whole sequence used only basic warrior skills, but even after 15 years of battles, I might not execute them so well. Your fight was like a pro player toying with a max-level elementary schooler using basic moves. That kid isn't as simple as you think. Meanwhile, I am running home at full speed. If there's anything I must do after being reborn besides seeking revenge, it is to prevent the impending tragedy, even if it means risking my life to stop it. The first thing the boy did after school was to find a way to survive his father. His father was violent and couldn't control his emotions. After he found out I was a Green Awakener, he beat me and severely injured my frail mother, leaving her paralyzed. Given a second chance at life, I'm determined not to let the tragedy repeat, even if it cost me my life to protect my mom. Recently, I awakened and rushed home, knowing that even if it meant dying, I had to prevent what was going to happen. Arriving home, I saw my mom preparing dinner. Seeing her again after 20 years, tears welled up in my eyes. I felt relieved, thinking how great it is that mom's still alive. When she saw me return, she used sign language to say she made my favorite hot and sour noodles. I held back tears and smiled, saying I wanted pickled fish today. Mom gestured we could have it tomorrow, as she made lots of delicious food today. I quickly shook my head, insisting I really wanted fish today, and asked her to buy it now. She couldn't refuse, and gestured she'd go right away. Just as I was about to leave with her, my dad, watching TV in the living room, suddenly said, "Your mom can go alone. What's up with you, kid? You returned without even greeting your dad. Isn't today the Awakening Day? Quickly share your good news." With that, my father grabbed 2 beers from the fridge, saying he left work early to celebrate with me. I didn't smile and lied, saying I hadn't awakened because the process took too long and ended before my turn. Hearing this, my father's face turned grim, questioning why I came back so early. He said that in his day, even without any conditions, he awakened to a red profession, so his son should at least have a red profession too, given how hard he's working to support my education. All his focus was on me, questioning my profession. The deadly intent surrounded me, but I still said I hadn't awakened. The next moment, a beer bottle smashed on my head, and my dad's expression turned fierce. "You're just a green profession, pretending to be serious at school. You awakened as a useless profession, and a green profession will make me lose face." With that, he kicked towards my face. This was expected. In my past life, when he found out I was a Green Awakener, he felt ashamed and started a fight at home, and my mom protected me. As usual, she stood before me, but back then I was too weak and scared. That day, he vented his anger on my mom for an hour. Her leg was broken, and she suffered a head injury, leaving her mentally unstable. I hated my weakness, hated that I couldn't protect her. Now, with a second chance at life, I can't let it happen again. Though the warrior class I belong to has unique traits others don't, I still need time. I've just awakened to the lowest level, while Bai Lingsheng is a C-level red profession, far different from the red strength at school. He's got enough combat experience that even though I'm now a gold-level profession, I can't beat him. He was home early today, waiting for me, and won't stop until he gets what he wants. So I couldn't let Mom stay here, which is why I sent her out for groceries. But unexpectedly, I heard bags drop at the door. Mom was back already. I was shocked, not understanding how she returned so fast. Turns out, Mom was worried I might be hungry, so she rushed home after shopping, only to see this scene. When Bai Lingsheng saw Mom return, he immediately turned his anger on her, saying, "Look at the useless child you gave me." At that moment, memories from my past life flooded back, and I remembered hearing you were the first green-level profession to advance. Generally speaking, a profession must be at least blue and have reached level 1 to enter the advancement stage. Why did you advance so early, and directly from green to the 1 in a million platinum? At this point, my master asked why I was brought here, a place meant for death row inmates. I said solemnly, it was that earth. How could he beat my mother to death like that? With this thought, my eyes became incredibly determined, and I swung a heavy punch at Bai Lingsheng with all my might. But in the face of absolute strength, my attack had no deterrent effect because even without using skills, a skilled awakener is much stronger than an ordinary person. Ordinary folks can't take such a punch, but I must stand up for my mom. Unexpectedly, she stepped in front, shaking her head, hoping Bai Lingsheng's assistant would notice. Bai Lingsheng sighed, shut the door, and said, Ruyun, I was thrilled when I heard you were having a son. I thought the Bai family's chance to rise had come. Those two couldn't have a son, but I, Bai Lingsheng, could. The Bai family can only depend on me to bring honor to our ancestors, but why did he? The most useless green profession can't even advance. The team is all because of your lousy genes. Seeing my mom about to be hit by a bench, I panicked and quickly activated a skill, switching to a longsword to push Bai Lingsheng back. Yansheng warned that this person must not get near my mom. Bai Lingsheng looked at the torn clothes and sneered, exuding an intimidating aura. Surprised I dared to fight back, I gripped the longsword tightly, staying focused, and had to find a way to hold on until reinforcements arrived. Just then, Bai Lingsheng charged at me with incredible speed. I hurriedly activated the skill to reflect the damage back, but unexpectedly, the sword in my hand suddenly shattered, and a solid punch landed on my abdomen. The difference in attributes was too vast, and just one hit completely broke my defense. However, Bai Lingsheng's attack didn't stop there. He even used the skill Thunderbolt Black Lightning to add an electric shock effect to all his attacks. I quickly shielded my head to avoid nerve damage and losing consciousness, as a barrage of heavy punches rained down on me like a storm. Bai Lingsheng found it laughable that I was still struggling to hold on, thinking that such a weak profession should be overpowered by the strong. He casually picked up a nearby stool, ready to smash it down on me and my mother with all his might. Just then, there was a sudden urgent knock on the door. Seeing this, a slight smile appeared as reinforcements finally arrived. Bai Lingsheng, looking angry, opened the door to find two security team members. Deputy Captain Leon, with a stern face, asked why it took so long to open the door and what was keeping them. The inspection team's arrival puzzled Bai Lingsheng, and he gently asked the deputy captain why they were there. 18 minutes earlier, before going upstairs, I had called the security team to report that the wanted criminal Snow might be in my neighborhood, prompting them to investigate. This was my chance to send Bai Lingsheng to jail. Leon then showed a wanted notice, mentioning they had a report about Snow near this building and were searching. Bai Lingsheng laughed, claiming he hadn't seen anyone. Leon then noticed me and my mom behind him and asked, "What happened to your child? Why are they covered in injuries?" Bai Lingsheng lied, saying I accidentally fell and got hurt. I quickly explained that the injuries were caused by him. My arm was hit by a chair, my head was struck by a bottle. This was from a punch, and this from a kick. All my injuries can be assessed right now. According to Chapter 8, Article 4 of the Awakener Management Ordinance in Shendian, if the person poses a potential danger, they must be immediately detained. Detained in the Awakening prison for 15 days, the guards were shocked. They never expected someone my age to have such skills. Bai Lingsheng never thought I'd expose him, and in his rage, he almost attacked me. Chen Jinwu quickly restrained him. Leon announced his official arrest, warning that resistance would lead to control measures. Once Bai Lingsheng was taken away, the house fell silent. My mom rushed over, hugging me tightly, her sobs echoing. I was relieved to have protected her, and with 15 days I could grow stronger. I vowed never to let her be bullied again, and this beating wasn't in vain. At that moment, I got the safe key from her. Back then, he betrayed his teammates for that item, which helped him rise from the lowest level to sea level. I went to his room, opened the bedside table, and found a safe. He had kept this secret from his family. I only learned about it after he died in the previous life. With this weapon, I can try to clear the demon lair alone. Meanwhile, in detention, Bai Lingsheng begged Leon for leniency, promising not to cause trouble again, but Leon ignored him. Bai Lingsheng smiled and said, "I heard your wife is about to give birth, and my friend runs the best postpartum center nearby." Leon sternly warned Bai Lingsheng about bribing the inspection team. If caught, it wouldn't just mean detention. He advised Bai Lingsheng to rest and report to the Awakening prison tomorrow. Furious, Bai Lingsheng vowed to make me suffer once released. The sharp blade had been sitting at home for 20 years without anyone paying attention to it. But the moment I laid eyes on it, I decided to make it my personal weapon. This A-grade blade perfectly compensates for my combat weaknesses, allowing me to solo hidden dungeons at my current stage. Not long ago, I sent my father to prison, but he will be released in 15 days. Before that happens, I must become stronger as quickly as possible, so the dungeon is my only option right now. However, all the dungeons are under the jurisdiction of the gods, and only guild members can enter. The dungeons I can access are those managed by the school, and the hidden dungeons I knew in my previous life. Dungeons can appear anywhere. They are another space parallel to our world, entered through doors that appear out of nowhere. Once discovered, they are occupied by guilds.
Magical caves, teeming with mystical beasts and valuable minerals, serve as perfect venues for Awakeners to significantly enhance their abilities. However, they are perilous, and generally require official inspection before a team can enter. 5 years after my previous life, reports emerged that this cave had been overlooked until a demon invasion exposed it to the human realm. Typically, an F-level cave necessitates the presence of 3 level 1 Awakeners, whereas a level 1 cave demands 5. 3 level 1s, and 2 D levels. Considering the timeline, there is a 90% likelihood that this cave is F level, the most accessible hidden cave I can enter at this moment. Despite the inherent dangers and the need for a team with elemental skills to increase the chances of success, I am left with no alternative but to rapidly become stronger on my own. Upon entering the cave, I was met with a vast ice and snow expanse, likely home to cloud-type magical beasts. Nearby, a huge white bear slept, surrounded by human bones. Clearly others had been here but didn't make it out. I recognized this bear as an 8th level magical beast, the Icefield Bear, indicating this hidden cave's level is 1. Suddenly, a shadow flashed behind me, and a 2nd level bloodthirsty Linlang lunged at me. Luckily, I reacted quickly, dodging it and counter-attacking with a powerful thrust, slicing the bloodthirsty Linlang in half. This Kungwu blade is truly an A-level weapon, not even available on the market. The attributes I have now barely make up for my current lack of combat power. If I face a beast with high defense, even targeting vital points, it might take 3 or 4 hits to bring it down. I can't help but think back to when I was at level L, needing about 20 wolves to level up in the first profession, and going from level 1 to D requires 10 more levels. Suddenly, dozens of bloodthirsty Lin Langs came at me, including a level 4 bloodthirsty wolf king, likely drawn by the scent of blood. I realized they planned to overwhelm me with numbers, so I quickly jumped into action, attacking the weakest spot in the wolf pack. While these low-level bloodthirsty Lin Langs aren't a big threat, their numbers mean I must clear them fast and ensure each hit is on a vital point, using the combat experience from my past life. With high skill and basic warrior techniques, I swiftly took down the low-level bloodthirsty Linlang. Now, only the Wolf King remains. I charged at him with full force. Flashes of light surrounded him, and the kill notification rang in my ear. I got the Snow Wolf Diamond and leveled up to 12, with 12 points to allocate. I closed the notification, panting. I didn't expect to be so tired after just 20 wolves. My stamina is still lacking, and I need a dimensional backpack, or I'll miss many chances. Most magic caves are controlled by guilds, making it tough for outsiders to level up. There is an opportunity to access advanced magic caves. Joining the Divine Guild group is the only choice. The Awakener School is under the Guild group and is used to select talent for the team. Most students aspire to become outstanding graduates and be selected by the Guild, but if they are kicked out of the team, it could mean they might never improve again. Bai Linsheng's stagnation at sea level was due to being expelled from the Guild group. In comparison, my progress is not fast either, because the temperature here is too low, and the longer I stay, the more my stamina is drained, so I can only solve this in the quickest way. With that thought, I turned and ran. During this time, the noise from chopping trees with a blade drew many magical beasts. Soon, I was surrounded by them. Suddenly, cliffs exploded violently. I nodded. The noise was enough to wake all monsters, and that guy should wake up too. Just then, a giant horn came down, crushing the bloodthirsty Linlang. The newcomer was the awakened Icefield Snow, whose huge size was visually overwhelming. The Icefield Bear, in rage, would indeed be formidable. The attack was indiscriminate, and what I had to do was dodge while picking up the spoils. The system notifications kept echoing in my ears. Although the beasts were fierce, they generally lacked intelligence. This bear not only helped me attract firepower, but also saved me a lot of energy. However, to gain experience, I still had to land the final blow myself. Even with the help of the Ice Bear, I was still running low on energy, and there were many beasts present. It was time to move to the next phase. At this moment, the beasts surged towards me like waves, unaware of the countless ice spikes buried underfoot. I immediately drove my blade heavily into the ground, causing it to shatter instantly and begin to collapse. During the battle, I was constantly observing the surrounding environment. This wasn't a moving lake surface, but rather an ice bridge spanning between 2 canyons. In an instant, most of the beasts plunged into the bottomless abyss, and my level instantly reached 7, earning me the title 1 against 100. When facing multiple enemies, all my stats increase by 10%, and the remaining stamina is enough to handle the leftover beasts. But from the beginning, I've been pondering a question. Each lair has a leader-level lair lord, which should be something like a ferocious lion king. The commotion just now should have woken him up, so why hasn't he appeared yet? At that moment, terrifying ice magic surged toward me. Realizing this, I knew something was wrong. I was trapped. The leader wasn't asleep, but waited for the right moment, letting us tire out before coming to reap the benefits. This ice bridge was his trap. I tried to escape the spell's range, but the terrain quickly froze me to death. I never expected an intelligent leader in this low-level lair. Then, the Cloud Elemental Master from episode 11 appeared, with 2 level 10 Cloud Spirit Magic Monkeys as his lieutenants. My mind raced, figuring out how to escape this deadly trap. The Golden Hand Warrior tackled the hidden dungeon solo, and upon entering, he jumped off a cliff without hesitation, because the level 1 cave's leader had unexpectedly high earth level strength. In desperation, jumping off the cliff was my only survival chance, and only by constantly facing dire situations could I trigger my profession's advancement. The advanced skills granted me the power to level up independently. Not long ago, I was tricked by the Lord of the Azure Forest, and my body was frozen, nearly freezing to death. At this moment, the Lord of the Azure Forest slowly raised a finger. The Kanglin Demon Monkey suddenly attacked me. At that crucial moment, I managed to break free from the icy trap and utilized Gewu to reflect the incoming damage. I summoned all my remaining energy to shatter the ice, but it significantly drained my stamina. If the Lord of Kanglin were to launch another powerful spell, it would take some time, so I needed to defeat him swiftly. Just then, the Lord of Kanglin raised his left hand, and as he clenched it, the previously enraged Icefield Bear calmed down, its fierce gaze fixed intently on me, and I sensed impending trouble. The script was already restrained by Yongshi, and with my current strength, it's barely enough to deal with those 2 monkeys, let alone handle such a large number of beasts. This time, the Kanglin Demon Monkey suddenly attacked me, and just blocking the attack made me feel exhausted. In this dire situation, finding a chance to kill the leader is out of the question. Even basic survival is uncertain. At this moment, the Lord of the Kanglin Forest grinned sinisterly, raised his staff, and launched a storm assault at me. Seeing this, I was stunned, not understanding why his skill cooldown was so fast, but I quickly calmed down. In my past life experiences, I often faced various predicaments, and through them, I developed a sense of opportunity. Currently, I have only 2 choices. The choice was to either stay and keep fighting, but my stamina was depleted, making survival impossible, so only the second option could break the deadlock. With this in mind, I jumped off the cliff without hesitation, leaving the Lord of the Azure Forest shocked, not expecting I'd leap to my death. Meanwhile, my mom entered the room to wake me for a meal, only to find the bed empty with just a note. I said I went to a friend's house to play and would return later, but she sensed something was wrong. If I were going to a friend's, I'd definitely tell her, especially since I'd been home since yesterday. He noticed I seemed like a different person, making him uneasy. After falling off the cliff, I struggled to swim to the riverbank. When the ice bridge broke, nearly 100 magical beasts fell, but I was only level 3, meaning 40 beasts survived, so there had to be a river at the cliff's bottom, making the second option my only survival chance. However, breaking the ice again nearly drained all my strength, and the impact from falling into the river from such a height caused significant harm to my body. I was reaching my limit. The scene gradually became blurry. Worse still, I hadn't completely escaped danger. At the bottom of the cliff, a level 19 Glacier Overlord was still lurking. Memories of past lives with my teammates and my mother's constant care flashed through my mind. Having them in this life, I could die without regret. But recalling the smug smile of the Lord of the Azure Spirit, the disdainful look of Bai Ling Shen, and the traitorous expression of Yin Xiao, I refused to let my journey end here. Any regrets from the past life, I will absolutely not let them happen again. Having lost once and died once, I will never die again. Awake at night, I used sheer strength to break the Glacier Overlord's fang. Then with a swift kick, I sent it flying. At this moment, wisps of golden smoke emanated from my body, a characteristic of career advancement triggered only in desperate situations. Choosing to solo the magic cave and actively luring beasts to jump off the cliff, constantly putting myself in dire situations, was all to regain the courage I once had. In my previous life, when I personally killed Bai Ling Shen, the adrenaline rush triggered a state of mind, and now I'm trying to recapture that feeling. The system notification rang in my ears, saying I failed the profession competition due to lacking conditions, but I gained the advanced skill of a fine swordsman. My eyes lit up. Though I didn't achieve a profession advancement, I got this ultimate skill early. It was time to clear the obstacles ahead. Just then, the Glacier Overlord roared and charged, followed by a wave of beasts like a tsunami. I lowered my stance and swung my sharp blade, forming an energy blade that instantly wiped out the attacking beasts. Even the level 10 Glacier Overlord was split in half by this ultimate skill. This move cleared my fatigue and restored my stamina. My level quickly rose to 18, earning me the title Icefield Wanderer, with 100 resistance against cloud-type creatures. With reduced frost damage, it's time to face the Lord of the Azure Forest. On the way, I kept defeating bloodthirsty Linlang, gaining experience and reaching level 19. Slaying level 1 beasts felt easy, and I barely felt the cold of the once pure land. I could unleash all accumulated damage at once on a group, but only after building enough fatigue and damage, thanks to him. My stamina is fully restored now. I don't know how long I've been in this demon cave, so I must hurry back, or my mum will worry. Meanwhile, the Lord of the Azure Forest rests in a small hut, waiting for challengers, with level 10 Azure Spirit Demon Monkeys on both sides. Right then, the Forest Lord sensed a familiar aura and opened his eyes. Suddenly the roof blasted open, and a glacier bear's corpse fell in. I watched with disdain, eager to defeat the Forest Lord quickly and get home for dinner.
I was known as the weakest warrior in school, yet I chose a mage weapon in the dungeon because I got an infinite awakening system. When enough of an element accumulates, I can pick a new random profession of that element. The Cloud Mage was the second profession I got. Not long ago, I came back strong to seek revenge on the Lord of the Azure Spirits. Seeing this, he smirked and pointed at me, and the Azure Spirit Demon Marquis quickly launched a fierce attack. However, his move seemed slow to me, and my trusty blade easily blocked the blow. With a quick backhand strike, I killed him instantly. This move shocked the Lord of the Azure Forest, who became cautious. He quickly used his staff to launch an ice storm, sending basketball-sized hailstones at me. But as an Ice Plains wanderer, I had high resistance to cloud attacks and ignored them, charging with my blade. In a panic, the Lord of the Azure Forest grabbed a magic-filled staff and ordered the Azure Spirit Monkeys to block me. But such a defense couldn't stop me. With my abilities, I used my instant flash skill to bypass all obstacles. I raised my hand and sliced off the Lord of the Azure Spirit's arm. My attack didn't stop. The Heaven and Earth Sun and Moon Slash unleashed countless blade lights on him. The sound of a successful kill notification rang in my ears, promoting me to an Earth-level River System warrior. After a series of tones, the system notified me that enough cloud elements had accumulated, and a new profession was about to awaken. Seeing this, my eyes sparkled. I had been fighting so intensely that I forgot about this, and I had no idea what kind of cloud profession would awaken. To my surprise, I awakened as a red quality cloud mage, able to switch professions anytime. Although it was only level 1, the red quality had a 200% bonus value, making its strength comparable to my current D-level warrior. I glanced at the ground where the Forest Lord had dropped the Earth-level mage weapon, the magic stone, and an Earth-level magic bullet that could hold 20 items. I picked them up, a glint of killing intent in my eyes, and switched to Cloud Mage mode. The remaining small fry were perfect for testing a mage's strength. Meanwhile, my mom stayed up all night on the couch, not having seen me all day. She looked gloomy, worried something might have happened to me. At that moment, I opened the door and walked in. "Mom, sorry to keep you waiting." Seeing me return, my mom stood up and hugged me tightly. The worries in my heart vanished, and tears welled up. I saw the food on the table had gone cold, realizing my mom had been waiting and hadn't eaten. As a son, I felt ashamed and decided to move away with my mom to start a new life in a different environment. At that time, I used this membrane bag to take out the 10 or so most valuable items, aside from the essential weapons. Then I contacted an agent to sell them all. The agent glanced at the bright red module in his hand, nodded with satisfaction, and expressed willingness to purchase them all for $800. Hearing this price, I took the module back and bluntly stated that if they didn't offer $8,000 each, I would leave. After some bargaining, I finally sold all the modules for $7,000, using the money to rent a very nice house for my mom. In the afternoon, I took him house hunting. In his past life, he never had a good day. In this life, I just want him to enjoy it. I saw my mom really liked this house, so I rented it for 15,000 a month. That evening, we moved in, and it had been ages since I saw her smile so easily. Now that the housing issue is sorted, I've leveled up and gained a new profession, but Bai Lingshan will soon be famous, and I can't let my guard down. Until this is fully resolved, I can't seek revenge without worries. As I thought, I polished the magic stone into a bracelet, which can expand the magic range by 50%. Tomorrow, when I return to school, I can search for that thing. Meanwhile, Hong Qiangsheng emerged from the magic cave with his bodyguards praising his performance, but Hong Qiangsheng ignored his sister, who kindly offered him water, hoping he'd rest. Instead, he knocked the water away, unwilling to waste a second, and prepared for more training at the next magic cave. Now with amnesia, the level 3 galactic assassin was determined to prove in the simulated combat test who the real genius was. Meanwhile, in a high-end area, a girl with long braids looked at a list in her hand. Being an extremely rare golden quality profession, she lamented that there were no golden professions among this year's Awakeners, making the upcoming simulated test less exciting. The next morning, I overslept and quickly ate my lunch, asking my mom why she didn't wake me. She gestured, saying I was sleeping so well she couldn't wake me, and being late sometimes is fine. I smiled, realizing it's been ages since I slept so well and had such a peaceful breakfast with her. While thinking, my mom suddenly patted me, startling me. I asked, "What's wrong?" She gestured, asking if I wanted anything, like a toy or gadget. I laughed, waved my hand, and asked why she wanted to gift me something. She pointed to the calendar on the door, and Li Hua said, "Next Friday." Next Friday is my birthday, June 5th. It's been so long, and it sent a shiver down my spine. In my past life, after my mom passed away, no one celebrated it, and I slowly forgot about this day. But now, I don't really want anything because I already have what I want most. Next, I need to achieve one of my goals. Find the dreadlock guy who stabbed me and kill him. After breakfast, I arrived at the Awakeners Hall, where the gym teacher announced we'd start the tough prep for the simulated battle, reminding everyone of its importance. The Awakeners Hall I belong to is directly under the middle school division of the Divine Guild. The guild keeps a close eye on each student's progress, and the mock combat is the first chance for everyone to show their skills after awakening. It's also the middle school graduation test, streamed live. Top performers might get to join the high school division for training at the Divine Guild's HQ in the Holy and Peaceful Nation. I'm familiar with this place. It's where I met my mentor, and where the dreadlock guy was born. However, he joined the Divine Course after me, so they never crossed paths. I need to find him now. I must excel in this assessment to join the training journey. Right now, the gym teacher told everyone to start with physical training. Everyone entered the gravity room for 10 shuttle run sets, but as they went in, I jumped out and told the teacher I didn't want this training. It was my first simulated battle, yet I questioned the gold medal trainer's teachings, suggesting they were misleading. The teacher's face turned serious and asked what was wrong with the physical training. I explained that physical fitness is essential for almost all awakeners, so entering the gravity room wasn't wrong. But shuttle runs suit only warriors and assassins who need speed and coordination. Not everyone needs this. For instance, mages who chant spells are better suited for the original house for elemental control training. Elemental control training varies for each person based on their attributes and habits. This made the teacher's face serious, and Qi Yin, the class leader, was surprised. My training method matched Mr. Dongyang's, the Divine Core's training officer. This method was new, known only through videotapes. Surprisingly, I thought like Mr. Dongyang. The teacher's expression darkened briefly as he patted my shoulder, but then he smiled, finding my training suggestion interesting. The school has too many students, making it tough to cater to each one's uniqueness quickly. The simulated battle is like a middle school graduation performance. If it goes wrong, it could ruin a student's life. As a teacher, deciding a student's future or letting them choose is a big dilemma. Hearing this, I thought deeply. My past life had a harsh family, but I was lucky to meet great teachers who helped me grow without becoming twisted. I then told the teacher this graduation performance wouldn't disappoint him. He nodded slightly and asked how I wanted to train, recalling I awakened as a Hexy warrior. I pointed to the nearby element room and asked if he could max out the element cancellation. My friends and teacher were shocked. Why would a warrior train there? I quickly explained I wanted to challenge my weaknesses to balance my abilities. Ying then raised his hand, wanting to practice element control too. The teacher sighed and said we could train as we liked, as long as we didn't embarrass him in the final assessment. On the way, the class monitor suggested sparring with me, but I refused. As I entered the element room, the element cancellation effect increased, and I was already familiar with the warrior profession. I'm still new to the battle mage role and need to get good at it fast. Plus, I must keep my ace hidden and not let others know I can get extra guidance. This school is under the God's watch and they know everything we do. Revealing myself too soon could make me a target, so it's best not to bond with classmates. Training time flew by, and before I knew it, school ended. On the way home, Glasses and Bowlcut were panting, trailing behind me. They were my closest friends in middle school in my past life, as we were all at the bottom of the class and bullied. After school, we would regularly hang out together. It was truly my only source of happiness during middle school. However, now my primary focus is on seeking revenge, and socializing would only slow down my progress. Nevertheless, I feel uneasy about Glasses. As I rode my bike away, Bowlcut complained to White Ant, "Why is he running off alone again like last Friday? Weren't we the downbeat trio?" Glasses sighed. Since his awakening, he appeared more confident. Why would a biker wait for someone on foot? Still concerned, I stopped and advised Glasses to get his lungs thoroughly checked at the hospital. Then I continued my ride home. In my past life, in high school, Glasses found out he had a serious lung disease and died soon after leaving school. Even if we're not friends now, I still wish him good health. Watching me leave, Pot Coverhead couldn't grasp why I became so distant. Jinzi thinks I've changed a lot, but I'm still me. At Shengi Kingdom's training ground, my mentor Dongyang enjoys the sunlight. I heard a new recruit in the Divine Guild is doing great. Dongyang glanced at the recruit. Did you break the record? The man with dreadlocks nodded. You're too kind, Mr. Dongyang. I'm here to report. I told my mom not to go out alone, and I'll come back earlier to buy groceries. She agreed, but I know I need to provide a safer environment soon. Meanwhile, prisoners in Awaken prison line up for dinner. The bell was one of them. With a subtle gesture, I handed some bills to the guard who nodded and whispered, "We'll let him out soon." Meanwhile, I got familiar with the process. The key to a mage's work is timing the release and recording elemental forces. During this time, I advised my companions on correcting mistakes in rescue training. Glasses Guy took my advice and got a checkup. The doctor said it was lucky he did, as a parasitic tumor had appeared in his lungs, which would grow quickly. He was advised to schedule a procedure at a major hospital soon. Cutting it out solved the problem, leaving Glasses Guy shocked. If he hadn't missed a school health checkup, he wouldn't have added a lung CT scan. He couldn't understand how I knew about his lung issue. After the checkup, he walked alone in the school building and overheard news about Hong Qiangsheng. Recently, Hong had used his family's magic lair to level up to 1 of 4, and planned revenge on me after school. Hearing this, Glasses Guy rushed to save himself. Though known as the weakest warrior, he could switch to a mage's obsession in battles. Even the Lord and Mammoth guarding the magic lair couldn't last more than 2.5 seconds against me. Not long ago, we hunted the double-headed master and just needed the final blow for the highest test score. Ziling, watching the battle, was stunned. It's amazing that just one layer of a canopy wall could trap the two-headed master. Even if he acted, subduing him wouldn't be easy. Plus, the two-headed master was specially strengthened. The teachers watching the live stream explained, the river-based lion was led into water, making its skills useless, while the water-based flower's abilities were boosted. With simple elemental countering and teamwork, they easily subdued a magical beast above their level. Their quick reaction and leadership were impressive, so the teachers decided the top spot in this practical battle was surely secured by the two-headed master. The whole recording will be sent to the guild, and the evaluation might get the highest score ever. Then, the live broadcast abruptly cut off, and the one who destroyed it was the angry Xiling. Without video proof, we can't earn the highest credits. At that moment, Qi Ying and I were still unaware. I mentioned his skills were key to our win. His prior training in elemental resistance let him use a skill with many variations to trap him. Xiling, looking impatient, approached and suggested we chat outside. With that, she walked toward the magic cave entrance, clearly resentful. I calmly noted, "You do realize what suddenly strengthening a D-level monster means for students in the magic cave, right?" Xiling explained she meant to strengthen Qi Yin but missed her shot. Hearing this, I let out a cold laugh. As an archer, not ensuring your aim shows a lack of skill. Next to me, Qi Ying added, "No wonder you didn't reach the ultimate effects." Hearing this, Xiling angrily pulled out a longbow, clearly embarrassed. I quickly stood in front of Qi Ying, showing no fear. Intimidated, Xiling put away the longbow and walked toward the entrance, saying the road ahead is long, and who knows who will shine after the storm. I saw the destroyed live broadcast equipment and knew it was his doing to stop me and Qi Ying from getting high scores. Now, without anyone watching, he'll need entrance permission to return after leaving. The others are quite a distance from this cave, which gives me enough time to get what I want from inside. Then Qi Yin and I arrived at the entrance of the sealed cave. I asked him to keep what happens next a secret, although even if he told someone, no one would believe it. Qi Yin was confused and didn't understand what I intended to do. Casually, I took a stone out of my pocket, the very thing I had asked Hong Qiangsheng for, the unsealing magic stone. I placed it on the pile of stones at the cave entrance. A dark red light burst forth, and my task was to completely release the foundation of the cave. Seeing this, Qi Ying quickly advised me to stop. Once unsealed, the advanced beasts inside would rush out, and we couldn't handle them alone. I reassured him that their powers were still affected by the seal, and I could manage it. With that, I switched to a red cloud mage, stunning everyone around, not understanding how I could still transform into a mage. I didn't have time to explain, so I told him to wait at the exit. Just then, 3 two-headed masters charged out of the cave, and I activated the elemental power master.